welcome to Discover Tarot, the place where we reveal what's been concealed so that we can heal. This is a channel all about shadow work and essentially how you can be your best self. So I believe that our shadow plays an intricate part of who we are and who we're becoming. And it's our job and role and responsibility to understand our shadow self so that we can learn and how to emerge to be our higher self. So let's get into it. Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. Water signs. So we're going to start with a trigger. So let's see what's triggering us first. This is for Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. This is water signs, water elements. Let's find out what our trigger is. What is the trigger for Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer? What is the trigger? So we've got, when my feelings of shame surface, I will avoid everyone close to me. Got 3 triggers coming out. Okay. So we've got, when I feel overwhelmed and not in control, my behaviors become manic and compulsive. When I fail to set boundaries with others, I become angry with myself for days. When my feelings of shame surface, I will avoid everyone close to me. And on the bottom of the deck, I have, when I feel insecure, I put on a false mask to hide who I really am. So these were the triggers that came out. I know you can't read it. It's probably backwards anyway, but these are the triggers that I read from. Okay, so these are the triggers of what you may or could be feeling during this time period. When I feel overwhelmed and not in control, my behaviors become manic and compulsive. When my feelings of shame surface, I will avoid everyone close to me. When I fail to set boundaries with others, I become angry with myself. So this is all about your feeling and your emotions. This is about not being true to yourself in terms of like boundary setting, for example. You internalize because you feel like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? And then you have this sense of like, there's a feeling, there's like this it's not self-loathing. It's really like it's being very harsh on yourself. Like, that's the energy that I feel. Because it's like, when your feelings of shame surface, you shut everyone out. When you don't set boundaries, right, you feel bad about yourself. So you feel the shame for not doing what you said you was going to do, so you shut people out. And then you feel overwhelmed because you're not in control of your emotions of why you did it. So then you become compulsive by shutting everybody out. It's like making these moves because you're not processing. Instead, you're just like criticizing. It's like you're just like shaming yourself and blaming yourself for doing something that you felt in that moment. Why is that triggering? What is that triggering our shadow? What is it triggering in the shadow for the water elements? Compulsive behaviors came out. Vengeful. Okay, and you've got to be kidding me. I cannot make this up. So shame came out as the shadow, right? And it says, you are not flawed. You're worthy of love and belonging. Forgive yourself for not giving yourself enough self-love. Yes. Vengeful. Find a better way to heal your anger. The negative emotion comes back full circle. So it's almost like you're taking revenge out on yourself by shutting everybody else out. It's like you're putting yourself in timeout. That's what it is. You're putting yourself in timeout because you have decided, okay, I messed up because I have a potty mouth. So I got to be mindful. I messed up, so I am putting myself in timeout because I messed up. And so you compulsively cut everybody off. If y'all hear the noise, it's my cat. Like, you know, she is just doing her own thing. So, yeah, so it's basically like you trigger. So you like, for example, okay, I'm like, okay, I understand. So you set this boundary, you set this precedent. That's what you do. You set a goal, a precedent. You say, okay, I'm going to do X. And then X doesn't happen or you fail at it. So instead of giving yourself grace, you give yourself a punishment. And you're like, you know what? Why do you always do this? You always do this. Every single time you say you're not going to do X, or every single time you say you're going to start a new pattern or new this or a new routine, you never do X, Y, Z. So then you start internalizing, and then you start shaming yourself. When you start shaming yourself, you take revenge on yourself and you punish you because you didn't do something. So then you say, well, you know what? I put myself in timeout. I don't want to deal with nobody. And you go inward and you go insular. Your higher self wants you to know, one, that you have to love on yourself more through grace. You have to give yourself grace. Because the problem is, okay, and now they want to fall. I hate when they do that. I'm like, I hate when they fall. Your higher self wants you to know, let's see, we got, yeah, okay. All right, hold on, let me get this card. Okay, so the card that fell was, what is my heart trying to tell me that I refuse to hear? And then you have, I will meet new people. I want people to get to know me. I'm confident with who I am, to share myself with others. And at the bottom of the deck, you have, when was the last time I had a good laugh? Let's search for a silly video. And that's the energy. It's almost like getting into this space of like, on the bottom of the shadow deck, it says quarrelsome. Does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Is it a bad habit that needs to stop? Yes. So this is really taking a look at what you do when you feel bad about the things that you didn't fulfill. Maybe it was a promise, it was a commitment, it was a goal, and maybe you fell short of the goal. You have to find a way to forgive yourself in the process and give yourself grace through the process. It says, I will focus on myself. Now is the time for my inner growth. And I feel that it's like, there's this energy of like, it's okay to open my heart more, to feel and to express love makes me a divine being. I feel like this is inward though. I feel like there's a double component to it, because it's like you want to get out there, you want to be open, but at the same time, you set these standards, you set these goals, and if you don't follow them, or if you don't make them or meet them, then you get this energy of like, I'm not worth it. It's like a hidden soundtrack. And so it comes out where maybe I don't want to meet people, maybe I don't want to go out, maybe I don't want to, I don't feel like going out today, or I don't feel like, so it materializes in a subset where you take yourself out of the social circle that could have actually propelled you into another opportunity or something that you wanted to do. But it's almost like you're punishing yourself. So, and you're like your own worst critic, right? Because you're focusing heavily on what you didn't do rather than the fact of like, hey, things happen and I couldn't. You can only do what you can do, right? So I'm just pulling one of a piece of peace oracle card. And so it came out was, we've got don't micromanage. Yeah, do a heart audit came out. So it's like taking an audit of your heart. And it's funny because it's okay to open my heart more, to feel, express love makes me a divine being. This is taking stock. Like when you do an audit, you assess what's working, what's not working, where there are mistakes or corrective actions need to be made, and where do they not need to be made, like what's working essentially and what's not. So when you're doing a heart audit, you're doing an audit of what makes you feel good and when doesn't. What makes you feel like I'm on top of the world, and then what makes you feel like, you know what, this gotta go. What habits feed and nourish you? Like what habits feed your soul versus which ones actually eat away at your soul? These are things that you have to take stock of when you're taking a heart audit of where things stand, how you feel. So for this, it's like really, really taking stock and assessing like, these are my triggers. Yeah, when I feel overwhelmed and I'm not in control. And as a water element, we feel things deeply. I'm Scorpio. And so as a Scorpio element, and me, I have Scorpio, my Venus. So, you know, my depth of love and how I love is very deep. And so I feel my emotions very, very deeply. Always very critical of how we do things and how it's getting done. And we're naturally, we're not really perfectionists per se, but there's a level of standard that you want to adhere to. And when you feel like you're not meeting it, you feel it deeply. You internalize it really, really deeply. It's not like just like, oh, dang, I'll do better next time. It's like, dang, like you feel that. And because you feel that innately, you actually punish yourself before you even allow the universe to. It's like, I'm going to punish me harder than anybody else can. And when that happens, you actually take yourself off. It's kind of like you take yourself a little bit off track from allowing the process to just flow. Your natural nature is to just flow. But sometimes when the current is too strong and you feel like you don't have control, it's almost like you have this mega resistance to what's happening. And essentially, it's like, what is your heart trying to tell you that you refuse to hear? Like, maybe the resistance is actually, it's like, maybe the direction that you're going in is actually the right direction, even though you don't see how it's gonna manifest. Like it's I don't know. I think it's just getting to know you and getting to know yourself in a new space. I get this energy of like having a new approach to old situations or a new approach to old people or old things. So, for example, because it says, when I feel insecure, I put on a false mask to hide who I really am. It's like this energy of like, okay, I can't let them see the real me. Or there's something about a hiddenness about you, right? Like there's something about a hidden part of you that you want to birth out, but there's this apprehension about doing it. And so you get these interconflict, like they're very like conflicting energies within you, because you're actually trying to make sense of it. There's this energy of like, it's weird. It's such a, I'm really trying to get this energy out for you guys, because I feel it and I understand it, and I'm actually going through it. So I know, but I feel like this. What I'm feeling is like there's a mix of emotions. It's like a mixed bag. It's like you want to move in this direction, you want to do things differently, but at the same time, it makes you feel a little bit on edge because it's not what you're used to, right? And because you're inept to feel things as deeply as you do, you're doing a check-in with your heart. But the thing about it is your heart could be calling you back to a familiarity, but your mind logically is like, I left that for a reason. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing X. The thing is, and what I feel like the universe is doing is it's like reapproaching, like there's this pull because you're taking an old soundtrack and applying it to a new version or a reimagined thing. It's like taking a business that's been in business for a very long time, but let's say they want to revamp it. They want to revamp their business. Well, they're not going to say, well, scrap the whole business, because now they'll lose their customers, they'll lose everything, and maybe they still love what they do. It's not going to say, oh, we're going to forget this, we're going to start a whole new one. But maybe they reimagine it and change the logo. Or maybe they change their marketing campaign. Or maybe they change their slogan, right? Like plenty of big name places have done that before, right? They changed, they're giving me like, I think like a fast food restaurant. What was it? Oh, God, it might be like Burger King or McDonald's, like one of them. It went from like have it your way to I'm loving it, or something like that. Like maybe I'm mixing both of them up, so I don't even know. But they had a slogan and then they switched the slogan. It's almost like revisiting a situation reimagined. So reimagining it in a sense where you're not blaming yourself for something that happened in the past, but more so you're like, okay, that was then, that was this, I'm not that person anymore. So you have to kind of disconnect and disassociate certain feelings. You have to kind of separate those feelings of past circumstances and past you with a new you and an old situation. It's like if you move into an old home, like, okay, let's say you're moving back home, right? You haven't been home for a long time, circumstances change, you move back home to like when you were a child. Well, now you're a whole adult and you have a whole new mindset and you have a whole new life. So it's almost like taking this reimagined you and approaching this old subset of whatever in this new space. That's the energy that I feel. But I feel like you have these boundaries and these moments of like of it's like you have these old triggers of like remnants of memories that weren't great, or memories where you criticized yourself, that resurface in these old spaces. And so because you have that, you're now looking at it with a very conflated sense of like, how can I move forward? So yeah, it does require you to listen to your heart more and approach things, whatever this is for you, with a sense of like, yeah, you have feel, deal, and heal. And then you also have don't deplete yourself, complete yourself. So this is really about taking stock and completing you. Don't burn yourself out, beating yourself up. You know, basically take stock in nourishing you so that you actually can move in the way that gives you clarity and that gives you fulfillment. So I'm gonna just pull. That was a very complex energy to do, like, but you know, water elements are complex, so I'm not. Let's see. Yeah, there's death and rebirth. It's like, I'm gonna pull from the tarot. I just wanted to get some elemental cards. Element cards. What do we need to know, Spirit Team Guardian Divine? What do we need to know for the water signs? Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. All right, so we've got, we've got ego illusions at the bottom of the deck. We've got death and rebirth. This is like that phoenix rising up from the dust, right? From rising up from wherever it's rising up from. But it's rising, right? And so this is this emerged you. So this is like an ending and a new beginning. But they meet in the middle, because this is how this phoenix gets here, right? They meet in the middle essentially, because you're taking an old situation, you're reborn, reimagined out of that situation, because now you're moving into this new space. Now you can be in the same space, but you just approach it with a new reimagined outlook. And that's what's happening. And then you have empath, right, which is basically connect to yourself, cleanse, boundaries, holding space. This is holding space for this new version of yourself, but this is also holding some space for grace as you morph from this older version into this newer version. This is holding space for understanding that past elements don't shape and mold who you're becoming or who you've become. Those are just facets of you, but they don't define you. So you can't hold on to the shameful part of a past if you revisit it when you're in a newer space where you have now the clarity and the foresight to understand whatever happened in that past. Does that make sense? Like, I hope this makes sense, because this is a very complex feeling. And then you have ego illusions, right? And this is don't believe thoughts, inner stories, befriend your ego. And essentially you have to, because again, your subconscious is going to be triggered when you're in these old situations, because they're going to remember these past things that have happened. So those are the memories they're going to hold on to. And so now your shadow is like remembering. And so you've got this trigger that's really kind of highlighting what your shadow is going through, right? Which is that shame, vengefulness. But this is vengefulness on you, because I mean, it could be other people, but I just feel like it's more a you thing. It's like more you kind of like, okay, I'm never going to do this again, or I'm no longer going to put myself in situations, or I'm never going to get close to anybody. It could be something as simple as that. Like, I got hurt in the past. I'm never going to get close to anyone, because when I get close to people, I always get hurt. Boom. But now what you do is what you just did was you put a block and said, I'm never going to love or accept love or receive love, even though I really truly want love. So it's like that duality there. And so now you're in a new space where you're like, you know what, it is safe to love, but I have to love the right people. And it is okay to do this, but I have to do it the right way. But then you get into these old situations. Maybe you see old people, maybe you're around old friends, or maybe you are finding yourself in older, same neighborhoods that you haven't been in a long time, or whatever the case is. And now you're triggered because you're like, I said I was never going to do this again, and these people are the same, and this is going to happen just like it did before. And so there's that energy of like being fearful of, moving in that space. So I would say to just be mindful of that. Focus on yourself and your feelings. Focus on what your heart is asking you. And that's why I feel like that heart audit came up, because it's like, it's okay to open up your heart more, to feel, to be accepting and receptive to love. That's fine. To be receptive of a new way of being, even in old situations, because now you're looking at it with a new set of eyes, right? You're looking at it from a different lens than before. So what does the tarot have to say? What do we need to know? Spirits and guardians, ancestors. We have the Wheel of Fortune coming out first. See, it's not always going to be the same. That Wheel of Fortune here, Queen of Pentacles, Judgment card, the bottom of the deck. Look at this. This is great. Look at this. See? Come on now. I'm like, come on now. And look, you have, look at this. This is destined to happen. Like, you need to put the time, energy into yourself. What do you love? What does your heart tell you? This is a water element card, right? But this is getting grounded because you have the Queen of Pentacles here. So this is like getting grounded in that, right? Could represent two different people, but I do feel like it's elements of you. I feel like it's you getting grounded in a new sense of being. I feel like this is you with this Wheel of Fortune card. This is you really taking stock, because you have the Ace of Pentacles. You have a new opportunity, and it may be in something that was familiar, that was home, maybe going back home, it could be, or whatever the case is. It's just like a familiarity, but you have to put time, thought, and energy into what it is that you love, what it is that you feel, what it is that you're craving that lights you up. These are the things that you need to really take stock in, because with this Judgment card here, this is like, it's destined to happen. It's like, but it's weighing up those options, weighing up, not options. It could be options. You could have options to weigh up, like what you want to do or not do. But it's really like weighing up what it is that, judging the things that fit in your world and things that don't. This is really taking stock of making decisions on how are you going to show up in these situations, and what are you going to allow the past to dictate where you're moving to, or are you going to pour into yourself enough where you can actually receive the love that you're worthy of. So that's what I'm feeling really from that energy. Let me just see. I just want to clarify. What's the advice? Let's see. Card for the Ace of Pentacles first, please. Yeah, the Knight of Swords in the reverse. It's like with this Ace of Pentacles, I'm feeling like with the Hierophant coming out. Yeah, I feel like I feel like with the Ace of Pentacles, there's this new opportunity that's coming, that could be coming towards you, that could be open to you. But the Knight of Swords is like, in the reverse, it's like this impulsive energy, right? I just get the energy of like being impulsive with not wanting to be traditional, or not wanting, because the Hierophant is someone who's conventional, traditional. They do things the same way. They they could be learning something new. Could be a commitment as well. So I feel like there's this new investment that the universe is giving you, but I feel like because it's coming, there's this impulsiveness, and I think we had compulsive behavior. So it's almost like knowing, it's like knowing that this is for you, but feeling like making a quick, hasty decision because of a past thing. Because of a past situation. Because you have the Tower here, and then you have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And it's just this energy of like, I just get this energy of like skepticism, like, like I don't trust, like, and the trust card is not even here. Like usually the Seven of Swords represents like trust or not trusting, but or some type of deception it can, or something hidden. But I just feel with this energy, it's like, I don't know if I can trust this, you know? It's almost like this mistrust in the universe a little bit. It's like, give me more for this Knight of Swords in reverse. There's like this mistrust here, and it's going to require you to work on yourself. Yeah, because it's almost like something is too good. You feel like, this is too good to be true with this Ten of Cups. That's what I feel. There's a need for you to like try. It's like looking at it's like giving the universe a side eye. Because it's all starting to work, whatever it is, because it's turning around. And it's like, oh, you're starting to get like you're doing the work solely, but there's this, I feel like you're doing the work, you're asking for all the things, you're doing all the right things, and the universe is giving it to you, and you side-eye in the universe like, this is too good to be true. Where's the catch? Because it's so impulsive. It's so like, that's what I get. Like, clarify this Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, look at this. You got the Ace of Pentacles again, the Wheel of Fortune. This is clarifying. You're getting the desires of like what you want, and it's like, this don't happen. So you trying to control this narrative like, I don't know. I don't know. So there's this skeptic. You have the Death card coming out here again, or we had the Death and Rebirth card earlier. So this is really about, okay, it's like freaking out right now. All right, so this is like you trying to control the narrative. You're trying to literally control everything but your emotions, honestly. It's like it's like you're trying to control everything but your emotions. Why the Judgment? Okay. I was looking at the Queen of Cups, and I feel like this is the Devil card came out. So it's like I was looking at the Judgment, but I was thinking about the Queen of Cups, and it's almost like you are trying to block the emotions of feeling things too deeply, because it puts you in a guarded position, because you're like, you feel and you love, and that is amazing, and don't change it, because that's who you are. So I feel like, but this Tower is here. It's like, it's sudden. It's like all of a sudden, the work that you were doing, whatever it was, the healing, all of those different things that you were taking the time to do, you're being conscientious of yourself and of you. And so now, because you're doing it, it's like, oh, like, wait a minute. Like, hold up. And, and it triggers these emotions in you, because you feel like, I already thought I healed that. And it's resurfacing. So with this Four of Wands, it's gonna come together. You don't see how with this Two of Swords here. You don't see it, but you feel it. You feel the shifts. You're feeling your feels, and it does creep you out a little bit. It makes you really nervous. But guess what? This woman is blindfolded, but she has all of these hidden lands behind her. She has all this undiscovered territory that she is like, it's like waiting for her, and she can't see, because she's like, I don't see how this is gonna work out. I don't know what's over there. All I know is this past, and that's all I know. But I feel intuitively through my gut that something is different. So this is about really taking time to like focus on that feeling. Focus on the feeling and let that lead you. Let your heart and your gut lead you, your intuition lead you. Because even with this sword, she's guarded. She's like, y'all don't get close to me, you know? And you may feel like that with people if people hurt you in the past. You may feel like that with friends if friends burned you in the past, you know? Look at you, got the Hierophant again. This is guided. This is a guided thing for your happiness, for your fulfillment, something that you want, and it's coming to you. So the best thing that you could do is look at it from a different set of lenses, right? You don't trust it. I I'm like, you don't trust it. But it's coming in. It's something you've been waiting for. You've been wanting. You've been like, I want whatever this fulfillment is. It could be whatever it is. Like, it could be better connections. It could be deeper connections. It could be connections with people that you are really, that you feel grounded in. One thing about water signs is they are deep people. They feel deeply. They think deeply. Surface level doesn't really. Water signs are so intelligent and so intuitive that they know things before you do, right? And see, you got this double card coming out again. The devil is not a middle card, by the way. I just feel the need to say that is a card that represents blockages, right? It can represent a lot of different types of energies, but essentially it can be a positive card to show where the blockages are, right? So it doesn't have to be a negative card. So I'm just going to get some advice. What is the advice? Okay, the cards are just flying out. All right, so the advice, yep, you got the same, no way, the same dang cards. Hold on. So you have the same cards, like literally you have, so the first two that came out was the Seven of Cups and the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands in the reverse. And then you have feeling guarded because of sudden changes, right? This towers are surprises, right? People get scared of the tower a lot of the time, but the tower is not something to be feared, honestly. It's something actually that liberates you. These people are in a prison and they're just going round and round and round doing the same thing. And it's like this lightning bolt here comes in and shocks or hits the tower. And they have to make a break for it. Either you stay in that tower and you burn, or you jump out. And it's a change. It's different, right? And so essentially it's sudden. And so because it's sudden, it has you on guard. Because you're like, wait a minute, what? And then you have this Two of Swords where she's like, I'm not doing that. No. So you delay. The Eight of Wands is like delay. It's things that can level up. Communication could be coming in. With the Seven of Cups here, there could be confusion. It could be opportunities that are coming towards you, but you're trying to hold off on them because you're really trying to get a gauge of your feelings because something happened that was too sudden, that was beyond your control. That's the thing. And so when it's beyond your control, you're nervous that you don't want to repeat the same mistakes. So you withdraw yourself, keep yourself back because you're like, I don't know what's up with that. I'm not ready to be in a social circle. I'm not ready to do those things because I realize that maybe I have more healing to do, or maybe I just need to think about it. That's what this is about. It's basically saying, and this is the advice, is to be mindful that sometimes these new opportunities, you want to be cautious not to reject an opportunity of what you want because it didn't come in the form of how you expected it. So, and also everything that comes your way, that comes on your path, isn't always meant to destroy you. So it's giving me this Cups, and this Cups is like good things and bad things. Like, I don't know what all these goddamn things are, but some of them like look kind of like not good, right? Like they look a little rough. But the thing is, every cup or every path or every circumstance that you've had doesn't shape or mean that everything to come is going to be the same way. And that's why you have to take your experience and apply it, because now your experience has shaped how you view things. Your experience has shaped how you see the world, how you see connections, how you see people. And so because of that, you have to be mindful of everything that happened before. You're not starting from scratch. You're not starting from a place of not knowing. You're starting from experience. So this is really about using that experience to shape new ways of being in old places or old situations or old dreams or old goals. It's that opportunity. And with this Ace of Pentacles coming out, it came out twice. You have an opportunity to have that. It's promising. The universe is giving you that. but you have to get clear about it, and you have to heal and make peace with your heart and figure out what your heart really, really, really wants. Because they're going to deliver it to you. The universe will deliver it to you, but will you be able to receive it? And we always say we want something, but we don't be ready to receive it when we get it. So the first one that came out was have faith. Okay. Keep going. And they just want to fall. So the first card that came out was have faith. It's not always easy to have faith and trust that everything's going to be okay. Yet still you must do exactly that. Because when you have faith, your life will begin to flow in magical ways that you never imagined were possible. Yes, keep going. Keep doing that work. It may feel as though you've been on this path or journey for so long, and you may even wonder if you're making any progress towards your dreams. This message is a loving reminder for you to keep going. You're almost there. Let me get this card that fell. Allow was the card that fell. So it says you're being asked to open your energy field and take down your walls of protection in order to allow goodness into your life. Sometimes without even realizing it, we block ourselves from the flow of life. It's safe to open yourself back up. So again, that's the same thing I've been saying. I just used like 5-6 different decks and got the same energy. So that's what I have for you, water signs. I will see y'all in the next one. I hope this resonated. If it did at any point, please like, share, and subscribe. One of the three, all the three, whatever works. I would appreciate it. And thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.